It's that time of year again when I'm putting my MX-5 to bed for the winter. I have made a previous video showing a more comprehensive overall procedure for winterization, but today I'm adding a step to the process that will help prevent brake problems in the future. I'm going to perform my first ever brake caliper maintenance on this car, so join me today while I go through these steps. I'm filming the front brakes because they're in the sunlight and I can get my camera in tight for the close-up shots. The first step is to turn the steering wheel to the left to expose the brake hardware. I placed a plastic drip mat under the hub to catch the extra brake cleaner that would otherwise make its way to my garage floor. As you can see, I'm successful in capturing at least 29.7% of that stuff. I'm only interested in removing the caliper and slide pins today, so I'm going to leave the caliper bracket attached. Here I'm using my gentle persuader to help remove the top caliper bolt. This bolt threads into a hole in the slide pin and holds the caliper onto the assembly. I just repeat the process for the bottom bolt. It's now an easy matter of swinging the loose caliper up and out of the way and securing it up high so it won't fall. I am taking care not to twist the brake hose or let the caliper hang from this hose. For the most part, these brakes are in good shape. The car only has 10,961 miles on it, but the areas of concern for me are the brake pad grease points. With the brake pads removed, I can get right into the brake pad sliders with some brake cleaner. Using a flat-bladed screwdriver, I'm able to remove the built-up dirt from inside the cooling slots and around the face of the brake pad material. The final step of the wash is just to give it a good dose of brake cleaner. At this point, I apply some silicone brake grease to the ears of the brake pad. During the driving months, I tend to pressure wash the car at least once a week, and this has a tendency to wash away any grease that's present. Doing this caliper maintenance at least allows me to replenish the grease where it is needed. With the pad slapped into place, I'm just making sure that it's able to move freely. And now I'm just going to repeat the process with the inboard pad. One thing I'm noticing are the scratches on the shims where the piston is in contact. I will ensure to apply some grease to the piston in these areas. And here, once again, I'm applying way too much grease to the ears of the pads. It's now time to shift my attention to the slider pins. I carefully separate the rubber boot from the pin and pull it out. I find that the grease from the factory has turned sticky, so I clean the pin with a lint-free cloth and apply a liberal amount of grease. I ensure that there will not be a buildup of grease on the tip though. If there was a buildup on the tip, the pin might not be able to extend all the way into the bore. This freedom of movement is what I'm looking for. Before reinstalling the caliper, I apply grease to the areas that I had mentioned before. Here, to the back of the piston for the inboard pad, and here to the fingers for the outboard pad. Installation of the caliper just requires installing the 2 bolts that I previously removed. As I tighten the 2 bolts down, I'm ensuring that I apply the torque equally between the 2. final step here, I'm just cracking the bleeder screw just enough to loosen it. I won't allow any air in or fluid out. But how many times have we gone to bleed the brakes on a car, only to find that the bleeder screw and caliper have melded together into a rusty mess? This step, hopefully, will prevent that from happening. So now I'm moving on to the rear brakes. The caliper is slightly different from the back as opposed to the front ones, but the general principles are the same, so the procedures will be the same as well. So there was my take on a brake caliper maintenance performed on my MX-5. This procedure only added about 40 minutes to the overall winterization process, but since I was doing a tire rotation anyway, I had all the brakes uncovered. Not unique to the MX-5, this procedure can be carried out on any make or model car with disc brakes. This could potentially save you between $500 and $600 at the dealership. If you do it yourself, you can keep an eye out for any brake problems before they become serious. Thank you for joining me today behind the red door.